What happens when someone who's always been the strong, dependable figure suddenly finds themselves staring down a health scare they can't control?
That's exactly where Emmerdale's Liam Cavanagh finds himself, and the way this storyline unfolds is going to leave fans shaken, heartbroken, and desperate to see what happens next. Liam has always been known as the calm and steady doctor in the Dales, someone who people can turn to when things go wrong. But in recent weeks, sharp-eyed viewers might have noticed the cracks starting to show. His quiet struggles with bladder problems weren't just uncomfortable quirks, they were signs that something wasn't right. At first, it seemed like he was trying to ignore the problem, brushing it off as nothing serious, but behind those moments was a man silently panicking about what it all could mean. The truth started to creep closer when Claudette and Aaron unexpectedly caught Liam in a situation that left him embarrassed and exposed. It was at the allotment, of all places, where she found him in a vulnerable moment. Claudette, being the friend and colleague she is, refused to just walk away. Instead, she urged him to take his health seriously and see a fellow doctor.
Liam, however, wasn't ready to face reality.
He tried to laugh it off, to minimize the issue, convincing himself that it was nothing more than a minor problem. But the way Claudette looked at him, the concern in her eyes planted a seed of doubt that he couldn't completely ignore.
That doubt grew when Claudette pushed harder. She didn't just suggest, she insisted that Liam undergo a prostate examination.
But rather than accept her advice, Liam did what so many people do when fear takes over. He ran from the truth. Canceling the appointment and putting on a brave face, he convinced himself that ignoring it was easier than facing what he might hear. To outsiders, it looked like pure stubbornness, but for Liam, it was something much darker. The crushing fear that this could be something he couldn't control, something that might change his life forever.
But ignoring the problem only made it worse. The moment everything came crashing down was when Manpreet Sharma walked in on him at the surgery, finding him in a position he couldn't explain away. It was humiliating, yes, but more than that, it was terrifying. For a doctor who has spent his life diagnosing and treating others, suddenly being confronted with the reality of his own failing health was a shock like no other. This was no longer something he could keep private. This was real, and it was serious. That led to one of the most emotional moments Emmerdale has given us in recent memory. Liam finally sat down with Dingle and opened up about what he feared the most.
He admitted that his symptoms might point to prostate cancer, a word heavy with dread and uncertainty.
For Chaz, this wasn't just heartbreaking, it was personal.
She has already been through her own battle with cancer, and hearing Liam voice the same fears stirred up every painful memory she's fought to move past. In that moment, her devastation wasn't just about Liam, it was about the possibility of reliving her own nightmare, and maybe even losing someone she cares about deeply. What makes this storyline so powerful is how it strips Liam of the image we've always had of him. The strong, composed doctor becomes just another person facing a frightening unknown. When he first spoke to Claudette about his struggles, it was an act of rare vulnerability. Talking about something so private isn't easy, but he trusted her, and in doing so, showed a side of himself that many viewers can relate to. It's a reminder that no matter how strong we appear, admitting weakness can sometimes be the bravest thing of all.
And while Liam's health battle takes center stage, life in Emmerdale is never simple. Elsewhere in the Dales, another storm is brewing, one filled with danger and betrayal.
Mackenzie Boyd has finally managed to reconnect with Dingle, a reunion that should bring relief, but their world is far from stable. John Sugden's twisted web of secrets has begun to unravel, and with each passing moment, his grip on control is slipping. His sinister bunker, once hidden away, has now been exposed, forcing him to abandon his hostage and face the walls closing in around him.
But the big question remains, is John finished, or does he have one more deadly plan up his sleeve?
Mac and Aaron are ready to blow the whistle, to finally bring justice for the chaos John has caused.
Yet, villains in Emmerdale rarely go down quietly. Fans can't help but wonder, will John manage to slip through the cracks once again, or has the end finally caught up with him? Together, these two storylines highlight exactly why Emmerdale has kept viewers hooked for decades. On one side, a deeply personal, emotional journey as Liam confronts a terrifying health crisis that threatens to change everything. On the other, the unraveling of one of the village's darkest figures as secrets, lies, and violence come to light. Both stories carry the same underlying truth. In the Dales, no one is safe from the unexpected, and no one's life stays the same for long. What's coming next will be nothing short of gripping. Will Liam find the strength to face his diagnosis head-on, and will Chaz be able to stand by him through the storm? And as for John, will justice finally catch him, or will he slip away one last time?
One thing's certain, Emmerdale is about to change forever, and fans won't want to miss a single second of what's about to unfold.